Before oil, before steel, before railroads, there was sugar, a single commodity so violently profitable that the families who controlled it became wealthier than most nations, built entire political systems around its production, and paid architects, kings, and parliaments to ensure the suffering never stopped. By the mid-18th century, the sugar islands of the Caribbean generated more taxable revenue than all of Britain's North American colonies combined. The men who owned those islands were not merchants. They were sovereign powers in all but name, and almost none of their names appear in the history books your children read. Before we reach number 1, a dynasty so deeply embedded in the British establishment that its wealth shaped a sitting parliament. Stay through entry 2. What comes after will reframe everything. 10. The Beckford Machine. William Beckford the Elder did not merely own plantations. He owned Jamaica in every practical sense. By the 1750s, Beckford controlled more enslaved workers than any single individual in the British Empire. His sugar operations fed refineries across London, and his political donations purchased 11 seats in the House of Commons simultaneously. His son spent the resulting inheritance building the most expensive private residence in English history. The fortune did not begin with talent. It began with acreage, coercion, and the systematic destruction of human freedom across generations. 9. The Codrington Legacy. Christopher Codrington governed the Leeward Islands for the British Crown, while simultaneously running one of the most brutal sugar operations in Antigua. When he died in 1710, he left his estates to the Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, a church institution. The Church of England then operated those plantations, branding enslaved workers with the word society on their chests for over a century. The endowment funded scholarships. The scholarships built careers. The institution still exists. The plantations made it possible, and almost no congregation has been required to fully account for that inheritance. Number 8. The Lascelles' fortune. The Lascelles family of Yorkshire began as customs collectors in Barbados. Within 2 generations, they had become the single largest creditors to Caribbean planters, effectively owning the debt of an entire colonial economy. Their English estate, Harewood House, was constructed on sugar money and stands today as a heritage site. Researchers in the 2010s confirmed the family received over £26,000 in compensation when slavery was abolished in 1833. Not the enslaved workers, but the Lascelles family, compensated for the loss of their human property. That payment, in modern terms, exceeded tens of millions of pounds. Number 7. The Drax Dynasty. James Drax arrived in Barbados with almost nothing. By the 1650s, after introducing industrialized sugar cultivation to the island with technology imported from Brazil, he had transformed an entire colony's economy. The Drax family plantation still operates in Barbados today, making it one of the oldest continuously operating estates in the Western Hemisphere. The family name also appears on one of Britain's largest modern energy companies. The historical thread connecting 17th century plantation wealth to 21st century corporate infrastructure has never been fully severed. It has only been quietly renamed. Number 6. The Dutch sugar refiners of Amsterdam. While English planters harvested raw sugar in the colonies, Amsterdam's merchant dynasties refined it. By 1650, Amsterdam housed over 50 sugar refineries, and the families operating them, the Trips, the de Graeffs, and others, used sugar profits to fund the Dutch East India Company, municipal loans, and the construction of the canal houses that still define the city's skyline. They were not planters. They were processors, financiers, and infrastructure builders. They kept their distance from the fields while absorbing the profits. That distance was itself a form of power. 5. The Cuban sugar oligarchs. In the 19th century, as the British Caribbean declined, Cuba expanded. Families like the Aldamas and the Iznaga built palace-scale mansions in Havana and Trinidad, while operating some of the largest slave-worked sugar mills on Earth. The Iznaga Tower, still standing in the Valle de los Ingenios, was allegedly built so the patriarch could watch enslaved workers across his entire domain from a single vantage point. These were not colonial administrators. They were private lords operating autonomous economies inside a nominally Spanish colony, wielding more daily power than the governors sent to contain them. Fravor, the Louisiana sugar barons. After the Louisiana Purchase, American planters rapidly converted the Mississippi Delta into a sugar empire. Families like the Forestalls and the Miners built fortunes that funded New Orleans banks, insurance companies, and political machines. Louisiana sugar money capitalized the very financial institutions that would eventually fund American industrial expansion. The cotton economy receives far more historical attention, but Louisiana sugar preceded it, financed alongside it, and outlasted it in certain parishes well into the 20th century. The architectural evidence survives along the River Road. Most of the families it enriched do as well. 3. The Tate, sugar refinement empire. Henry Tate did not grow sugar, he refined it. His patent for the sugar cube, introduced in the 1870s, transformed a commodity into a standardized consumer product and generated an industrial fortune of staggering scale. Tate used that fortune to endow what became the Tate Britain Art Gallery in London. His name now adorns one of the world's most prestigious cultural institutions. The gallery holds works of immense beauty. Its founding donation was built on a refinery empire that processed the output of plantations, whose history Tate himself never publicly examined. Philanthropy has always been a remarkably effective instrument of historical distance. Number 2, the Havemeyer monopoly. Henry Havemeyer built the American Sugar Refining Company in 1887, better known as the Sugar Trust. At its peak, it controlled 98% of all sugar refining capacity in the United States. Havemeyer bribed legislators across multiple states, manipulated commodity prices to destroy competitors, and testified before Congress that he considered bribery simply the cost of conducting business. The trust survived antitrust proceedings, restructured, and continued operating. The Havemeyer family used the resulting wealth to assemble one of the greatest private art collections in American history, much of which now resides in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. 1. The Compensation Network. In 1833, when Britain abolished slavery across its empire, Parliament did not compensate the people who had been enslaved. It compensated the people who had enslaved them. The Slave Compensation Commission distributed £20 million, equivalent to roughly £17 billion today, to approximately 46,000 individual claimants. The recipients included aristocrats, clergymen, members of Parliament, and the ancestors of figures who remain prominent in British public life. University College London's Legacies of British Slave Ownership database has traced that money forward through generations, revealing how sugar plantation compensation funded country estates, university endowments, railway investments, and political careers. The sugar dynasties did not simply profit from slavery. When slavery ended, they were paid again by the state with public money for the loss of the human beings they had owned. That network of compensation and the generational wealth it seeded has never been fully mapped, never been fully acknowledged, and has never been repaid. If this surprised you, the next video goes even deeper.